Greetings and salutations, kings and queens. This is DctrJo, your favorite neighborhood MD, on episode 11 of the Vital Check, and we have by my side for the past 11 episodes.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Me, DJ Critical. Bow, bow, bow.
And today we have one guest, which you already know, and the second guest is a new person on the podcast, but faithful listener, right?
Faithful listener, yes.
And it's going to get spicy, guys, so I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Please do.
What's going on? I'm Mr. DctrJo again.
Hey, Mr. DctrJo.
Yeah, a friend of DJ Critical for 20 years.
20 years.
Correction.
Yes.
Just letting it be known. And, I'm just here to share my opinion on some things, so I'll turn it over.
Yes, and I don't know what I am. I don't know if I'm controversial, direct, but you call Mr. B.
All
Mr.
right.
B.
Mr. B.
Mr. B.
All right, so we're going to start off the humble brag with Mr. B's accomplishments. He didn't know we were going to do that, but, you know, he got some awards at work.
Oh, yeah.
You know, his wifey, Mrs. B, put it up in the group chat.
Shout out, Mrs. B.
So, Mr. B, you want to let us know what kind of awards, what accolades were being celebrated?
Yeah, sure. So basically, certain cases, like one case in particular, which I forgot about, basically it was like a suicidal person on the track. We got that suicidal person off the track. It was actually hanging off. Like, I had to talk to them. He didn't want to talk to anybody else. So they gave me an award for that. Then we had another suicidal person. This is all Yonkers, by the way. Yonkers. I love Yonkers, but it could get crazy.
It gets a little crazy in Yonkers.
But shout out to my top 5 rapper of all time, DMX. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yonkers, stand
Rest
up.
in peace.
But yeah, those are one of the things you know what I'm saying? Suicidal EEPs and things like that.
That's dope.
That's nice. That's a skill set, right? Like, not everyone knows how to de-escalate and, you know, redirect someone who's at a position where they want to lose their life.
Yep.
Yeah.
So kudos to you, Mr. B. As controversial as we might maybe be.
So now they could call you in for like if people are trying to like jump off like buildings and stuff.
Nah.
Yeah,
Are you the negotiator? You gonna add that too?
Word.
I'm not
Mr. B, the
Samuel
negotiator.
Jackson. I'm not Samuel Jackson.
Send him in. That's what's up, though. Congratulations.
Yes,
That's
kudos.
Appreciate it.
Well, real quick, how did you feel after that? As far as like the emotion of like, you know, you're like literally being able to like save somebody's like life twice.
It's just something that you do.
Okay, got you.
You just act in the moment, and for the most part, the job that I do myself, and you know what he does, you know, you gotta react, and also it's all about talking to people. If you know how to talk to people, it's gonna be hard for you. So we have a lot of, you know what I'm saying, colleagues that don't know how to talk to people, so the interaction may be different.
So at those present moments, there was other people around, and you just took the initiative to go, or they tried and it didn't work, and you was like, oh, let me get a shot at it.
So with people that's dealing with like emotional like distress, what I like to call it, it depends. It depends on who they have a knack to. So say for example, you came and you was the first on scene, or if I came after you, sometimes they may take a liking to you. So they may be like, all right, I'm gonna fall back. So what happened in that situation was me and my partner. I was the first person to get there.
Okay.
I built the rapport.
With him. Okay.
And I asked him like, oh, where you from? He said, oh, I'm originally from Ghana. My father's Ghanaian.
All right, so y'all already
So that's what it was.
familiarity and stuff. Okay.
Got it.
That makes sense. That's what's up.
And that's, I mean, really, it's an art to kind of, right? I think as humans, you know, we're going to get real philosophical right here, but, right, we all have something in common. I really believe in the 6 degrees of separation. But it's an art to kind of flush that out of people. So for you to be able to be like, oh, where you're from, and make that connection in such a high pressure stake situation, you skilled, Mr. B.
Listen, it's all about talking.
Kudos.
I think in the situation like that, it's big in our line of work for representation. Representation matters. So I think like, and that builds that connection. Like other people, other colleagues of ours may not have had that rapport because they don't look like that person, or you know what I'm saying. So just going into that situation, you already know, like, if I see another person that looks like me, I can find something that I relate to them with. You know what I'm saying? So that's huge.
That's like similar to like the question about like police officers in different like neighborhoods
Right.
and stuff like that, where you have somebody who's from deep in Long Island, Suffolk County is a MRPD, and it's in like the hood with like predominantly like minorities and stuff, and they don't know how to react or speak to people of different ethnicities, and that's what usually is the conflict. Between stuff.
I mean, that's a big reason why I do what I do. But I think the practicality of that is hard to put into play, because you look at it like they made pushes for like people within the 5 boroughs to apply for our positions, and but it's difficult, because if you grow up in a culture where, you know, I'm not
anti-cop.
I'm not gonna be a cop. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do that. But they present the opportunity to you to where you could represent people that look like you wearing this uniform. It makes a difference. So I mean, if anybody wants to become a cop, I think it's a good job. It is where you make it, and you just continue to represent yourself and your people, and you'll be all right.
With that, it's I feel like it's difficult when you can be like the one good apple out of the bunch, but then like they do have the thing where they call like it's a family, like the blue gang or whatever like that. So it's like when you have several others that are not doing what they're supposed to do, it's really hard as a civilian to differentiate in situations which one you're gonna encounter. So like say just like at a routine stop or whatever, at that point you don't know, are you gonna get an asshole cop, or are you gonna get like a cool cop that'll talk to you or see what the situation is. So a lot of times I guess that's why some people just be on like the defense.
But I think also, right, it's even if they are, let's say, quote unquote, good bad cop that day.
And then y'all like hold each other, not y'all, but like y'all hold each other down.
Y'all.
So it's like there's a small amount of cops, I guess, it's seemingly like, I don't know, that'll speak out against what's going on, rather than just keeping quiet because of the whole, like that's my brethren kind of, thing. So also that's.
But then also at the end of the day, I think it's important to recognize that they are people. So let's say even if they are presumed good cop, let's say like this is their 8th call of the day, they're tired, they're exhausted, like you might not get the best version of that cop. And that doesn't make them bad per se.
Well, that doesn't allow them to like, all right, because I've been in a lot of customer service positions, like jobs, and no matter how my day is going, that doesn't give me a right to be nasty or rude to the 12th person that has a stupid ass question or piss me off.
No, I absolutely agree with you. So I always tell my partner 2 years ago, right? I feel like I changed his mind, right? He's from the 5 boroughs. I was saying that, with us, when we put this uniform on, unfortunately, we're not perfect, right? You say we are imperfect people, but we are held to a higher standard.
Correct.
That's true.
I absolutely agree. And what you're talking about as far as like solidarity, right? There is solidarity, but at the same time too, I agree with you on that point, but a point I would like to bring up is like, I come from a community where people of color, and they may be aggressive.
Right. No, I agree. Yeah.
So someone coming from another community, they may take that as a threat, right? So, the different ways that people interact or react to like police officers, things like that, is not going to be the same. Myself, he's not always going to be there, right? Correct. So it can always be a different interaction. So sometimes I don't want to say like the
it's on both ends. No, it's definitely on both ends, because there's times where I'm with people and we get pulled over and I'm like, yo, shut up. And then the passenger driver's like, oh, well, what do we do? Oh, you don't have nothing better to do? There's crime out there. I'm like, yo, bro, can you just like relax? And then I end up getting a ticket. It's on my license. I have to pay for it. And the whole drive home, you just there jawing off and just complaining. And we could have just avoided this situation if I just showed him my Brooklyn Tech ID, and it would have been straight. Like, it's crazy out here.
But I think it's unfortunate too. Like my wife, right? I got pulled over a couple of times. Once I was also in the military, so twice I was in the military, and 2 times I was a cop, right? So both times after the situation, I didn't get tickets, by the way, right? I showed that my police ID.
Yeah.
So. But the last time, so the 3 times before, they weren't people that looked like me. the last time was someone looked like me, right? For her, she felt like the last time with someone that looked like me, they was a little bit more aggressive, right?
Okay.
Did you receive that?
As far as did I feel like it was aggressive? No, he was just doing his job. Was it different than the others? Yeah, right. But for me, being that I'm in this profession, I understand a little bit more. But I just question, like, you know, her as my spouse. Like, if I'm cool, you be cool. Like, she's like, oh, I see a lot of things what's going on in the news and things like that. The media traumatizes and brings up a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I was just talking to my wife today, like, why is it that whenever there's a police involved shooting, there's white cops that shoot white guys? Why is it's always the white cop that shot the black, and it's always sensationalized, and it's on and on the news cycle, right? And I feel like that traumatizes people over and over again. Yes, it's wrong, right? I'm not saying, oh, one is worse than the other. No, they both wrong. But also, too, the media traumatizes people time and time again.
I agree.
I agree.
And now they want to give us guns in New York. So that's awesome.
Well, they don't want to give guns in New York.
That's awesome. Oh, man.
But, yeah. I mean, and that's just, I mean, we're going to get a little bit into it. We're going to get into it a little bit later. But, you know, on a lighter note, critical.
Hi.
Kind of hotels do we have now?
Oh, speaking of hotels, look at my shirt.
That's right.
It's Jasmine Sullivan.
Ow, ow. Philly native.
Look. Oh, and my hat. This new number, Don't Call Me. Shout out to Ricketti. She has a new single called Bad Out. It's my homegirl.
Okay.
Let's see. This.
So it's summertime. It's warm out here in these streets.
Yes, it is. It is getting warmer, and what I'm realizing is that I don't know if it's retrograde or something like that.
Mercury, maybe some
or
some
Pluto
moon
or
is in the,
Jupiter,
in the Libra,
Saturn,
something.
yeah. But I'm having to turn down a lot of advances.
Wow.
Which is not a bad thing.
Okay.
Look at you, stud muffin.
Okay.
It's a good thing. I don't know if I'm just growing into my face and my new beard.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting facials, pause, from time to time.
So you're taking care of your skin.
Yeah.
Your skin is glowing.
Exfoliating.
You're drinking water.
Chemical peels, all that. And I'm just getting a lot of advances, but they're like direct and like very forward. They're not like subtle. They're like these women, like
they know what they want.
They know what they want
Yes.
it now. Like they want it immediately.
I mean, I think we're at an age, right? You kind of went through your 20s and I mean, for some of us teens, I don't know. But like flushing out what you want and you don't want. So I feel like once you find what you want, that's it.
The thing that I'm having trouble with is just saying no.
Oh, wow.
So that's the other part. So
Wow.
like I'm catching myself in situations and stuff that I don't really care to be in. It's just that I'm just
You're
a
just
yes.
a nice guy.
Yeah, I'm just like,
Just a yes man.
You want to do this? You want to go out? You want to? Oh, sure, okay. And then while I'm there, it's like, oh, all right, now let's do other things. And I'm like, I don't want to do that part. I just want to.
And then they end up in the front seat when you're getting pulled over, yelling at the cop.
Yeah, I just want to see the movie and then go home. I don't want to go back to your place. I don't want to.
Well, I read an article that men shouldn't be going to women's places anyways, because then you might get killed by the ex.
That is true, but I don't want to bring it to my place. Like that's not
That is
happening.
gruesome.
Yeah.
And then hotel fees and stuff. Yeah, like, you don't want to do all that.
It's expensive.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I don't know, but from the hotel app that I may have used from time to time, you see the different rates and stuff. But anyway, so yeah, I just have to say no a little bit to things that I don't want to be a part of, and not just take the nice guy role and just yes everybody, and then I just end up all over the place with people that I don't really need to be seen with or be with.
And where are these advances occurring?
The streets.
So you just walking down trying to get a bacon, egg, and cheese from the bodega, and they're just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catcalling you.
Or I've been pursued at DJ gigs a lot of times.
Okay.
They're just feeling the
because
vibe.
you set the
Yeah,
music, you got
and
the vibes going.
They're making
the
eye contact with me.
mood.
They're coming over to the DJ.
Oh, you live like a music video life.
Yeah, they're acting like they want to request, but they really want to request me.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Gracious.
So stock is going up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yesterday's
So
prices.
It's not today's price. So I just have to be more intentional with everything. You know, with dating, with saying yes, with the just going along with the flow, and participate in activities that I don't really want to participate in, and then I do a great job, and then they keep coming back, and then they get hooked, and then it's like
we got to start a Google reviews for you. We said that last time, but
it's like, oh my gosh, like I didn't even know. I was just.
Oh, man.
I wasn't even
I
serious.
didn't know it was that good.
I wasn't even serious,
Yeah,
I was like, I was
imagine if I could.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's just me.
It's crazy. Yeah,
That's just you.
That's just me. So yeah, that's what I'm going through.
Oh man, it's gonna be a tough summer for you.
Oh yeah, because everybody's outside now.
Everybody outside.
Yeah.
Outside is expensive though. So.
It's very
Exactly, and the gas prices.
Inflation is crazy. Yes.
Oh, dude, let's not even talking about inflation because my groceries.
Crazy.
But we'll talk. We'll talk next episode about monies, right?
Yes.
Okay, so talking about summer, we had a big album drop. I don't know if big. I mean, it was a little. It made waves. Drake.
Yeah, it's Drake.
Honestly,
Big
never
owls.
mind.
Yep.
A lot of
Aubrey
people, are criticizing it for its oomph feel.
Yeah. Little
But honestly,
EDM house music vibe.
yes, I liked it. The production's fun.
I was with everybody else. I was just fairly surprised because that was very unexpected.
Very.
I want lyrics. I want raps. I want captions. I want, shit talking and stuff like that. And I mean, it had a little bit of that in it for like Sticky and like certain tracks and stuff.
And then Calling My Name.
Oh yeah, that was
spicy.
Yeah, I need the edited version to that for
Yeah.
the kids.
Oh.
But yeah, it was just unexpected, and it grew on me because I like house music and I like dance music, but I just didn't really expect that from him, like a whole album work, because he's had instances like One Dance and other stuff that could be like house music, genre themed, and yeah, just a complete body of work that had the same tempo was interesting. But I mean, it's Drake.
But then, interestingly enough, Beyonce drops a single. Break. Excuse me, Beehive. He doesn't mean that. Please do not sting him. But Break My Soul.
I mean,
that's a banger.
You think that was better than every song on the album, on Drake's album?
I think it's comparable.
My daughter loves that song, so
it's on repeat.
It's good in my book.
She asked for it for as soon as she woke up.
I mean, it reminds me of "Show Me Love" by Robin S. And I just liked Robin S.'s version better. That's what I listen to when I'm in Macy's and department stores and stuff. It just looked like a little remix. Beyonce just out here remixing other people's songs and stuff like that. But
oh my!
I mean, I digress.
Well, for those of us, we're gonna.
But I do like Beyonce though.
Excitedly await the drop of Renaissance. I'm excited.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a dancing summer.
Maybe that's the only dance song, because I don't think she's gonna come out with the full dance album.
Well, I think she realizes that we definitely need feel good music, right? I think we've been into a lot of darkness, and we're about to talk about more darkness. And
it's ironic that they both came out with similar tempo songs.
So maybe there's something that we don't know about marketing and.
Yeah, I feel like what I've heard on the grapevine is that Drake knew what she was doing ahead of time and tried to beat her to it, and was like, you know what?
But that's hard. That's a lot of tracks to.
I mean, it's Drake. It's Aubrey Graham. You can do whatever you want.
I guess so. But anyways, I liked it. I'm about to go to BZ.
Because that's just like a weird coincidence. They're like days before, like a week before, like the same tempo. Because that's not something that's in the market where it's like, oh, like, people has done it. Like, that's like far left. But I'm just sitting on the side.
Okay, creating conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Okay,
maybe.
So in not so happy news, it's been a crazy week in the United States of regression.
That's a good one.
Thank
Regression.
you.
Okay.
Regression.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I saw that somewhere. Like, I like it. That's gonna be the title of this episode. So I saw somewhere they're like the single worst week for civil rights and liberties in decades. So in case, dear listener,
you've been under a rock,
or you're like the Belgium listener that listens faithfully.
Belgium! Shout out to Belgium. Thank you.
We have entered some treacherous waters. So the first thing that happened is that Roe versus v. Wade was overturned by the Supreme Court of the United States of America. So that was that, and we'll get into it. And then the second thing that happened, particularly in New York, was that Supreme Court also struck down a law that placed strict restrictions on carrying concealed firearms in public for self-defense.
Supreme
pretty
Court
much
is just having
deeming it
a ball this
unconstitutional.
week.
And in doing the pre-work for today's talk, with Mr. B last night, and I found, and the thing is, right, I have good thoughts, but I just don't know how to elaborate on them or make them
Okay, we'll help you.
succinct enough. But I found tweets that said what I wanted to say.
Okay. Tweets work.
So essentially, there was one tweet. It says, "Weird how a majority of 9 old people decided a 50-year-old law needed to be changed because looking back, it was a poor ruling, but a 230-year-old amendment is perfect as is." And then even to add more injury. Sorry.
Insulting.
These idioms, I hate them. But anyways.
It's all good. It's all good.
Speaking of idioms, at some point we can elaborate.
Circle back to the cakes.
Yeah, to my cake idiom. I found out the true meaning. It makes sense.
Okay. So then, and furthermore, Justice Clarence Thomas wrote that the courts to actually reconsidered 3 other rulings, the ones that legalized gay marriage and birth control. So, overturning Roe versus Wade is pretty much set a precedent for...
I'm moving back to Jamaica.
What else? I mean, it's shocking.
But why is it shocking?
Why is it shocking? Right? To me, there are so many things wrong in this country right now that why is it that abortion rights is what's on your
Is that the
forebrain?
precedent? Yeah.
Right? We have inflation to tackle. We have student loans to tackle. We have increasing crime and gun violence.
Yep,
really? Right now you woke up and chose violence?
But it's not the Supreme Court that wanted to address this issue. Supreme Court is just, they don't make law. They just interpret it, right? So if a state, the case that brought that to light was Dobbs versus Jackson, Mississippi, they wanted to basically they wanted to prohibit having abortions after 15 weeks. So now the Supreme Court, they petitioned the Supreme Court to answer that question. So now the Supreme Court went to answer Wade, right? So in Wade, it was never about the terms or anything like that. What happened with Wade was that in Texas, they made it criminal to have an abortion, right? But why did the court say it was criminal? It was criminal due to the fact of how do you know it was going to be a crime? In order for you to know it had a crime that's happened, you have to been in the room. But now you violate that person's rights because if I was pregnant and I'm in the room with, say, you the doctor, the state would have to be in that room in order for the crime to happen. So that's violating the privacy. With this, it's totally different. Now, you could say it's the same issue, but they answering 2 different things, right? So what me looking at their mind, I can understand why they did it. Not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent. I can understand why.
So why they overturned a ruling that federally allows abortions to occur?
So they're not saying...
They're saying it's a right? A U.S. citizen's right to seek abortion in any of these states.
It's not necessarily they were saying it was a right? So like I said, with Roe versus Wade, they were saying it's not a crime. And then when they brought it up again in 92 with Casey versus Pennsylvania, they try to place undue burden on a woman. Like, for example, to tell the husband, right, maybe reconsider it 24 hours. That's placing an undue burden. But now they're saying the state can say what maybe we don't want to have abortions. So it's not saying it's a crime. It's not placing undue burden on a woman. So now it's a different type of issue that another state brought to the Supreme Court. Does that make sense?
There's a conspiracy theory that white supremacists want to regulate the population of white people. So like the states that are all for abortions not being legal are the ones where they feel like the minority rate is rising, so they want to omit the opportunity for white people to have abortions, so that way they would increase the white population. And the fact that those states immediately after the ruling canceled all abortions for that day.
They had trigger laws,
and after. So now, like, as far as it not being criminal and you just not having the ability to have an abortion, I think that's a difference. Like, it's okay, but not being criminal, but why just not allowing it? Why didn't you just take away it's not a crime anymore, but we just, don't have it there?
Because you also got, like I said, you got to think about what the Supreme Court does. It's not, they don't make law, they just interpret it. So they basically just said it's on the states. The states has rights, whatever. So every state can make their rights. That's all.
Okay, all right.
But now, Critical took it a step further with the states that automatically or immediately canceled all abortions as soon as the decision was made. Like, what does that say? You can't go.
Well, it seems like they were already not in favor of abortions from the jump, but just that it was legal, they was like, all right, we'll play along. And now they're like, oh, nah, we don't have to do that anymore. We're not doing it.
But also, too, on the flip side, right? I was just talking to my wife about this. Now, we talk about the abortion, but now where do we talk about with accountability, right? So if you're engaging in sexual acts, right, unprotected sexual acts, then there's a possibility too. So I feel like
right.
But it doesn't right.
Real quick. So like, say what's one of the states that
Texas.
All right, so say Texas. Say someone is raped in Texas.
But rape shouldn't. That's the thing, right? Like a lot of activists are saying, like
sometimes you have to go to extremes.
It can't be just rape.
It can't.
Women have autonomy outside of rape.
No, because he said he's bringing up
referring to accountability.
Right. So if you're not accountable and you're a victim, now you have to go to a surrounding state to have that abortion, basically.
So I would say, like, I don't know every state, right? So
some of them, I think, like even incest is not a reason to get an abortion.
So this is where now politics come into play, right? So politics, sort of religious right, evangelicals, they want to be no abortions whatsoever, right? Then you got the left, they want it's like we as a country has become so polarized that we can't even meet in the middle to even. So
I agree with
this
that.
whole issue is not even about the people. Like, for example, President Biden coming out, right? Because I was just in a barbershop and my barber, he listened to MSNBC, so it was on. So I'm just chilling, just listening what's going on. So they hot. They hot talking about it. So there's one guy that was on being interviewed. He was like, what the Biden administration can do, they can have federal places in the states to where if a person in a state that don't want to provide abortions, they can go to that place.
That place, like a safe haven or whatever.
But I'm reading now that Kentucky.
That's problematic, though.
Because actually,
it's very problematic.
Exactly.
But then now, look. So apparently, Kentucky passed a law earlier this year where they have a provision that they can extradite people from other states who provided abortion pills to Kentuckians. So now, your past is still gonna It's a lot to unpack, right?
Like DctrJo was saying, I think it's less about accountability and just women having the right to do what they want to do with their body, and it shouldn't be on the state
or government
or government to regulate or say whether or not you could do this hit. But at the same time, it's like weed, whereas like some states is legal and then some states are not. So like if you want weed, you just have to go to another state.
But at the same time, too, we can't pick and choose. If you want big government, say you want big government everything. If you want limited government, say you want limited government everything. It can't be just for. So this is not my opinion on it. I'm just right, wrong. I look at both sides. So if we're saying, you know what, we want federal intervention. We want the government to say whether
what's right, what's wrong, what we can or cannot do.
Cool. So now,
when that happens, we just
the vaccine. Certain people, The government shouldn't tell me when to get the vaccine, but certain people, they should. It's like we can't pick and choose, and I feel like I said, it becomes so polarized. Like one group want this, one group want this. It's never we can meet in the middle. We can never compromise, and I feel like that's the problem we have in this country.
Well, kind of circling back, right? So I read earlier today, reframing women getting pregnant and saying men impregnating women, right? Because it takes two to get a baby.
Absolutely.
Right? So how come we're not performing vasectomies on men, right, that are impregnating or creating unwanted pregnancies?
Yeah, because if you go down the line, if you go fast forward and they make birth control illegal, then where do we stop? Is condoms then become illegal? Because that's a contraceptive.
I'm gonna buy in bulk right now.
But I'm just saying, well,
someone's like asking us if they should buy stock, right? Like,
yeah, not because if you think about it, like, what's stopping one from happening if the other one is already approved? Like, if you like I said, make birth control illegal, then where's the end game? Like, where does it end? And
the thing that really upsets me the most is that the states that really want to or were successful in overturning Roe versus Wade or whatever, giving their points, are the states with the least social supports, right? It's mostly your red states. It's the ones that use the most federal tax dollars, don't have state taxes, don't have local taxes. So their social support is literally crumbling, right? So now you are already taking away a service that is life-saving for some women, right? Because it's not just rape, it's not just, a woman's autonomy, but there are dangerous pregnancies,
right? Correct.
Right, there are also non-viable fetuses, right? So if I'm gonna birth a child with so many defects, are you going to give me then the social support to raise that child with multiple disabilities? Are you going to give me a living wage to support that child? No, not if I'm from the South.
Yeah, so, basically they tell you not to have sex.
Exactly, and that's not the way to go. And then also, those are the states that already are limiting birth control. So to me, it's just contradictions. Like, you're just saying one thing and not support, like.
But at the same time, too, in those states, right, this is where I feel like we gotta revisit, like, history. Look at what our forefathers, our ancestors did before pre-civil rights, right? They got together, right? It's not, you can't place it all on one institution.
And then they shot each other for funsies, like I don't know. I'm basing it off of Hamilton.
I knew that's where you were going with that.
But those people in those states where they're basically preventing them from getting abortions, go petition your electorate. Go to their offices. Gang up listen. It's not going to be. I'm not saying it's easy. It's not easy as 1, 2, 3. But to rely on one institution,
I'm ready for the riots. I'm gonna be on Fifth Ave.
No riots.
Washington Square Park.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is also, right?
No, for the looting.
Yeah, we don't
I just want the looting part.
I know looting.
Oh, the looting.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Gosh, I'm not there
but
for
you're not
that.
gonna be there. Yeah. Looting is illegal.
Oh, I'm not gonna be there. No.
All right.
But
thank you.
If it happens, and something falls off a truck, I may pick it up.
So here's the thing, right? What were you saying?
Me?
Looting, the riots. Oh, petitioning your elected officials. So I read yesterday that, voting is like the Democrats' new way to fundraise, right? I think we have reached a new, and now people are like, don't vote, just give your money directly to abortion funds. So to kind of say, go talk to your elected officials is an elitist thing. Because you're already asking disenfranchised communities to go petition a government that has them low on their priority list, right? You presumably voted for your local councilman, your assemblyman, your assemblywoman, but at the end of the day, who has the deepest pockets? Right? It's those that have the lobbying power.
But now when we say elite, I hate it. Yes, there are elite, like people that are part of the elitist, quote unquote, right? But at the same time too, Malcolm X said it, right? What do you have? Those disenfranchised people that you're talking about, do they have the economic power? No. Well, what power do they have? If voting wasn't important, think about what they're doing in the South. They trying to redistrict districts, right? So they know voting is a power.
Right.
Right? The same disenfranchised people you talking about, if these people didn't know voting was a power, they wouldn't work so hard to take it away from you. Right? So voting is a power, right? But it's not just my vote as an individual. It's not just your vote as an individual. It's us collectively.
Right.
Mm-hmm. We are missing that part. Imagine, like, for example, it's a separate issue, but imagine if in 1955 they never did the bus boycott, didn't take the buses. It wasn't just one person didn't take the bus. It was everybody didn't take the bus. It wasn't easy, right? But we have gotten to a point where we want easy.
And we're for self. There's a lot for self.
Yes.
Rather than seeing the big picture if we, stuck together and for our common goal.
Yes.
Because, like, if I got to take the bus to go to work, I mean, I don't know if I'm not going to go to work or I'm going to walk just because there's a common goal. Because, I need food. I need, there's bills, family. Like, there's a lot of things that come with ganging together and, sacrificing. Where back in the days, I guess they had little to no right. So it was, like, easier, I guess, to sacrifice.
The stakes are higher.
Yeah, that too. Where now is like, I could, all right, just no abortions. It's
Are
like,
you saying that okay? Are you saying that we're relatively spoiled in comparison?
Yes.
So how do we break that if that's even possible?
There was stuff like this happening. Unfortunately, it takes stuff like this, and what's going to happen? Probably they're gonna talk about it for a while. They're gonna have protests. Then it's gonna go away.
And that's what, like, to me, right? I understand people going to the streets.
BLM signs or none of that. When, like, weeks after, like, those protests and stuff, it was everywhere, and everybody is like, oh yeah, Black Lives this, Black Lives that, and now it's just like regular degular.
Yeah, even like the houses in the predominantly white neighborhood in which I run in, they had their little signs, and they're gone. They're replaced.
Yep.
And I was just like, that was interesting, right? So, like, you show this fake support. But anyways, my point is...
it fake, though? I think it's just a sign of the times. Everything is so fast-paced. Everything is changing every day.
Now it's trendy.
Yeah,
it's trendy things.
Definitely. Like, even
people will just...
Or, like, right, support for Ukraine. After Black Lives Matter, then there was, like, the Ukrainian flag went up. And then the Ukrainian flag comes down. Then it's Pride Month. So the Pride flag comes up. Because
there's so many social justice causes, and everybody wants to be a good person. So it's ever changing. So like you said, Black Lives Matter, Ukraine, to something else, to abortions, to this, to that. It's always going to be, boom, I support that, flag up. Next one, I support that, flag up. And I'm not saying it's fake. I believe it's genuine. It's just so many things, and it's so fast-paced, and everything is changing that you're just going to, it's for a time period, then you move on.
Because even then, like, now also, the companies are covering travel for employees. So I think Dick's Sporting Goods was the trailblazer for this, and a lot of more folks
are. That's not going to last long.
And that's like, I'm like, okay, so then let's think about this. So now you have to tell your employer that you're getting an abortion, right? So what does that look like when it comes to play as far as your employment? So although I think, like, it's a good step in the right direction, I think it's a bit not misplaced, but right, because then you have to be a full-time employee getting benefits, right? So who is that really gonna affect?
And it's so crazy that we're talking about abortion and disenfranchised people, but for me, the most important topic right now is almost like the crime that's happening, right? Like, what about the living people? Like, we have problems keeping people alive. Like, and when I'm talking about the age range is probably, what you say, 15 to 23?
The 18 to 24?
No, as
they
far
young.
As crime?
They young.
Nah, you could just...
Yeah, they young.
Yeah, you could go...
You know where they're from?
14 to... Huh?
You know where these young people that are committing a lot of these crimes are from?
Let me guess.
I don't know.
Believe that...
I don't know where they from, but I know what they look like.
Right, they do look a certain way, but most of them are from
Oh yeah.
An area that
south from Yonkers.
And just north of Manhattan.
Yes.
right there in the middle, like two letters like put together. I don't know.
Oh, East New York? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but that is true. Like there is a lot of crime. Not saying that takes away from abortion, but
Exactly. Yeah.
there's just a lot of things that's like ironically going on simultaneously, and it's just like every which way you turn, you're just getting smacked in the face by something.
Yeah, and
Tragedy.
it's honestly all
Yeah.
intertwined, one way or another. Like,
Crime and abortion.
yes,
Okay.
in
let
the
me hear
sense
it.
that once you also bring in the economic aspect of it, then it's you could potentially say like all this is affecting the disenfranchised people. Where,
Okay.
Your black and brown communities.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
so it's all intertwined to where like, all right, this is just not. I don't want to say it's a culture, but it is affecting that particular population. So it is intertwined.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I'm just tired. It's like, what cause am I gonna wake up and fight today?
Mm-hmm.
It's exhausting.
You look tired.
You just put on
I mean, I look
Like,
tired
you
because I was
just-
up till 1:30 watching this Mario versus Omarion versus,
Why did you even do that to
and
yourself?
then my daughter's not sleeping, so I'm just like,
She was watching Ray J. That song is like a new lullaby. That the One Wish is now a lullaby.
oh
the
my
The
God.
live version is.
I will
now a
continue
lullaby.
playing her sound machine. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean that was a very entertaining verses actually.
But I mean, beyond just like sleep deprivation,
Yeah, it is exhausting.
it's
though.
just my bandwidth, right? And what does that mean for our next generations, right? Like if we're undoing things, precedents, what's gonna be next? And I think that's the breath holding is what's also exhausting. Like, what's gonna leak next? What's gonna be the next issue that we're gonna have to fight for? And honestly, like, I don't even know if what we're doing anymore is effective, right? Is protesting really the way anymore, right? What is thousands of people in the streets, like, yes, but I think we have to do more than that, than demonstrate.
Maybe change the way you protest.
Which is, and apparently it's a very democratic way of thinking, but going to
What
the
other
voting
ways
booths.
of protest would you
I mean,
recommend?
if you were to tell me that we're gonna change X, Y, and Z by walking down the street from Harlem to the Lower East Side, I would say, how is that gonna change anything?
Do you feel like the Million Man March changed anything?
No.
That was a quick answer,
yeah,
Mr. B.
not really. And I mean, listen, I'm all for the causes.
No, I agree. It didn't either. I just wanted,
I'm all for the causes, but in practicality, did that really do anything?
I feel like the walks and stuff will just it just brings awareness more so than like that's the thing to make the change. It's just like to bring awareness to what's going on so then more people can, like, for lack of a better word, jump on the bandwagon or like try to do something. So it's like little things that'll ultimately probably result in something else, but I don't think the walks and the little protesters are the end goal. Like, oh, let's just
Right.
walk a couple miles and all right, we did our.
But
we
think
did our
about it,
thing.
for the majority of people, that is the end.
And I
Oh,
think
yeah,
because it's
right?
so
Yeah.
it's very
That's true.
tangible, right? It's something you can see. I'm told to show up at this place. I'm gonna show up, do my part. But like, let's say like
Yeah, because before it was like a lot of just sign this petition, and you don't know where those signatures or names go.
Right.
Like she said, it's tangible, so it's something you see or it's visible. You can
and you feel
be
like
a
you're an
part of-
active
right,
participant in.
Exactly.
Versus like you have to sustain this energy and lobby, right? So you have to have enough money to hire lobbyists to, go at it for your particular cause.
Yeah, you'll vote, and people are just gonna throw the votes out.
I see why you tired and you becoming a little bit disenchanted because you worry about so many things that's above you. Like me, I don't worry about something that's above me. I look at it, I read it, right?
Similar, I'm very similar. Like I'm in my little box of cocoon of what I can control. this water bottle. I can drink it. If I don't want to drink it, it's gonna stay here on the table.
But I think I don't know. That's the socialist in me.
Well, yeah,
you love using titles.
No, but honestly, like, right? Like,
What? So a socialist? So you think you're a socialist?
I think I have socialist values.
So would you like socialism?
I mean, I think we have some iterations of that.
Why? So when you say socialism, in what way would you want socialism?
In providing equity healthcare, right? I think the wealth gap is insane right now.
Get to that.
Right?
Yeah.
There's no reason why we have homeless people, right? When we have a conglomerate of billionaires in this country, right? So, and whatever, it's the dream of capitalism.
But why do people
right?
always attack the billionaires?
But it's not just, right? Because middle class is not even surviving right now, right? Back in the 50s and 60s, middle class, you did something for yourself, right? You did your little 9 to 5, you saved, you bought your little house, you raised your kids in your white picket fence. That's not even a dream right now.
Yeah, I thought I was middle class until I went to the gas station, and then I was like, whoa.
You can't even afford gas no more.
I can't fill up today.
I beg to differ. I don't think that healthcare, I would agree with you, like, right? Like, I've been to certain places that I don't like, and it's in certain neighborhoods, absolutely. But at the same time, too, even if you provide the services, there will still be people not taking care of themselves, right?
Also, to tap into that, if you want to provide health care for everybody, who dictates what health care people get, in the sense that then you bring it back to the federal level as far as abortions go and etc. Things like that.
But why do other like countries and stuff are able to do that, but here
they're smaller.
They're smaller. Also too, their taxes. And Canada is expensive up there.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
But I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to.
Right. So to me, like, one of the things that I think America turns a blind eye to as far as socialism is Medicare and Social Security. Right. If you strip that away from our elders, what's gonna be left? Dying elders. Right. Because at this point, elders can't even retire comfortably with Social Security.
We're gonna talk about that.
And we will talk about that. So to me, like, there should be a standard across the country, no matter what state you're in. I mean, I get it, different cost of living, but right, the fact that New York is unlivable for the poor, why?
And then also, real quick, with New York, now they're allowing us to carry guns.
They're not.
It seems like it, because that was one of the topics that, well, at the beginning when we were saying that they reformed
the bill.
the strict
Restrict gun laws.
Gun laws in
Okay.
New York.
Gun carry.
So now it's essentially slightly easier, I guess. Would you say? Or I don't think you would say easier, but
I wouldn't say easier, but now New York's NYC can't be as restrictive. They will have to, whatever way, the New York State Assembly will have to come up with some type of provision to basically make it less restrictive. I don't know what way, but they will have to make it less restrictive. But I'm not against what they did, how the Supreme Court interpreted what was according to the Second Amendment. For example, like I said, we talked about the crime. Some people don't feel safe.
But
what
is
makes your job a lot harder on a day-to-day basis.
So that then again, we talk about the
harder and dangerous. Yeah.
You talk about the provisions. Now, what provisions? I would have to wait to see what the New York State Assembly do to really say it's going to make my job harder, right? But at the same time, too, we can't be everywhere. Look how many crimes that are occurring in the subway, right? The subways are a part of New York City.
But why can't we recruit more?
So more police.
More what?
I guess police officers.
So you want the budget to be even more, because people already complain that the NYPD budget, it shouldn't be as big as, so now that's going to balloon even more.
But
we can't just keep spending, Joe. There has to be limits.
We have to keep spending. So to me, right,
And
I don't think,
real quick, if we have so much money to send to other countries for
billions,
whatever,
let's talk about it.
No, we don't got time to talk about it.
Why can't we just use that and fix what's going on?
But it's like fake money, right?
First?
Like, money doesn't really exist I feel like
it's just numbers.
But critical in that same instance, that's like kind of misleading because that money, there's a basically you wash my back, I wash yours. So the reason why they're sending that money because the U.S. is getting something in return, fertilizer, commodities like corn, wheat from Ukraine. So it's the reason why they're getting something in return. So they're protecting their interests.
My wheat bread and corn is going to be cheaper?
But that's where so to get your food, for you to grow like fertilizer or feed your livestock, some of it comes from over there. So it's not they just giving money just to give money. They have an interest in that.
Always. It's never just, you know.
Yeah, it's you scratch my back, I scratch your back. One hand, wash another kind of. Oh, these politics, man.
But wait,
That's
I was telling you something and it cut me off.
Oh, sorry.
You were saying something about hiring more police.
Yes,
and the budgets and
spending.
So, why should individuals carry guns?
Why should they?
Yeah. Do you really think that an individual person carrying a gun is going to prevent a crime from occurring? Absolutely not.
In theory, yeah.
People still invade houses with gun owners' houses.
But I think you would think twice.
Yeah, you would think twice.
I still see like I don't think so.
Yeah, because I mean, if I have a really good gun, I don't really care about your gun.
I've always didn't understand that philosophy.
What if I have an AK-47 and you have like a pistol?
Well,
I mean, you should not be robbing houses with AK-47s.
All right, what I'm saying is, if I were to go into an establishment with the intent to commit a crime,
correct,
to do X, Y, and Z, if it's understood that
this place is
I'm not the only one carrying, that would change my approach.
I mean, you just gotta go in there guns blazing.
But then, it's like a full circle.
It definitely is full circle.
You go in there, you carry a gun, you shoot and kill a guy. Right? So now you're taking a life away.
I think the theory is just that, like he said, if I know that there's civilians walking around with weapons, it's less likely for me to attempt a crime with these people, that unknowing that if they have some, like if I'm at a event or a bar and I know somebody has like brass knuckles or something, I'm probably not gonna snuff them first. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm probably not gonna.
I just don't know how much of a deterrent that really is, to be honest.
I think it is, because, like, especially with guns, is like, obviously they're a deadly weapon. So it's like, if I know my op has a gun, I'm probably not gonna start the shootout right now, because even though I could kill him, he could kill me too. So I'm probably just gonna like not do it there. So I think that whole theory is where, but I think there's people who's running around with illegal weapons now that's just shooting everything like a frenzy. Like I feel like the last 4 weeks, like there was like a mass shooting or something, like each week. Like in Philadelphia, there was like one or like two. In
Tennessee, I think there was
like,
one. No, Oklahoma, they shot the doctor, right? So
there was a shooting in Harlem.
There was there was a shooting in Harlem last week.
So I don't know. It's just, you can't be pro-life for one thing, and then not reflect in other aspects. So to me, you can't be pro-guns and then be okay.
They're not pro-guns. They just carry a
Second Amendment. Allowing you to have.
So this is another tweet that I think also kind of verbalized my frustration. It says, we literally allowing for our lives to, and it's poorly
written.
Yes.
That's what tweets are. They just ramble.
To be governed by the ideas of dead enslavers and colonizers from over 300 years ago, and these mother effers got the nerve to say I'm stuck in the past. So, and this, again, this is gonna take another conversation, but I have an issue when we kind of don't progress from things that were created so long ago. It's hard to write for the future, right? You don't know what's going to happen.
Well, when Roe versus Wade, when did that happen?
In the 70s. So
I think ironically, this is a progression of that. And just other things is like, it takes events for us to move forward. Unfortunately, there may not always be in our favor or our idealistic views at this present time. But that's part of it. Like that happened in the 70s, and now present day, now that's just what's going on as far as, you know.
And I want to touch on what you said earlier. You said that population control and Planned Parenthood, it was a form of population control for people of color as well. Some people have said as well. So you also got to think about the flip side too.
Yeah, that is true.
But they're providing a service that people want.
But it's population control. So on one end.
But I mean, they're not sterilizing people.
Yeah, and it was choice based. It wasn't like, oh, you have to go to Planned Parenthood. They were just providing you a facility and a opportunity, like, to, if you needed that service. Now you're like just stripping the whole thing. I feel is just like choice.
Right.
Like it's there if you want to go, if you need it, and that's like just saying.
The discussion is not if you need it, it's if you want it, right?
Right. You're just not even giving me the choice of doing it. You're just saying no, you can't have it, and I think that's what the big thing is.
And even like today, my friend, I didn't read the article, disclaimer, surprise, surprise, but the title was a Times article that says, in New York, anti-abortion centers outnumber abortion clinics. Right, so we're like one of the most liberal states.
And still.
So with that, kind people, I'm going to leave you with a quote. You know, I'm contradicting myself again. But someone posted it, and I guess liked it, but again, I think I'm so disillusioned with our government that I don't know. But whatever, I'm going to leave it with y'all. Do what you want. It's every citizen's duty to challenge their leaders, to keep them honest and hold them accountable even if they're not. So
that'll stress you out. That's why you're so stressed.
So kind people, your act of kindness, donate to whatever cause you want to, whether that be ACLU, Planned Parenthood, or whatever you feel your values align with. But donate and get out there. And I'm going to be very democratic and say vote. But again, we're in a very blue state. So
I didn't vote.
You didn't vote.
Well, I voted for Biden, but I didn't vote for this dumb mayor that we have. He's out here crushing bikes and four-wheelers while there's mad other stuff you should be doing. And this is what you want. You want to rent a lot. You want to gather up all the bikes that you confiscated off the street. And this is what you want to do.
I know that you don't go to the Bronx often, but that is a huge problem in the Bronx.
It's crazy.
Huge.
What, stealing of bikes?
No, it's just unlicensed, like no plates.
But that's just not the Bronx. I work in Harlem. It's in Harlem.
It is in
Two
Harlem.
places that I don't go.
So also too, you also gotta consider
I've seen it in Brooklyn.
how the mayor feels. The broken windows theory. Minor crime leads to major crime, right? So yes, on one end you may say bikes. We got many different issues. But on another hand, you could say it's a nuisance. It's like tomato. It depends.
You're going to do all that and they're just going to steal more bikes. Because they're unlicensed because they're stolen. They're not just unlicensed because they went to the Kawasaki dealership and just stole them.
But everything's unlicensed. You got unregistered drivers out here with them janky plates.
Right,
Yo,
so what are you going to do?
The plates out of my mind.
You're going to confiscate all the janky car plates and crush them.
Told them all.
It's crazy.
Yo, no, it's insane.
That's just civilians.
The fake license plates, the templates.
That's civilians taking plates off of people in the Bronx and putting them on other cars.
They did that to me already.
I know. And where were you? I rest my case.
All right, kind people of all boroughs and states and countries.
And Belgium, hey.
Thank you for joining us on this very hot topic of episode 11.
This is a good one.
We will see you back again. Stay tuned.
Word.
Bye.
Right.
Later.